Why do guys want to be chased instead of courting women now?
What I'll say is, women, you need to position yourself to be caught. There's not enough women out here positioning themselves as feminine women. I think a lot of us are the man we want to be.
I think that the women can start being feminine again when the men start being masculine again. Because these are the new bad.
She broke the bed, so I can't sleep in it. I don't know what's wrong with people. And I guess she think this funny. My MacBook! She broke your MacBook, baby? She done broke my child MacBook. Don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry, don't cry, Kima. Kima, don't cry.
They want to be the bad now. They want to be put up. They asking you what the you bring to the table. So in the position, because women are reflections of their men.
It say, you know that, good when she got him with the samurai outfit on. Listen. Hey.
And we have now switched roles with them. I cannot step into my femininity until you step back into your masculinity, right?
I know you didn't just use my card to buy your baby daddy some groceries.
Yes, you know my baby daddy don't got that. Baby daddy don't got no friends, no family. He's single. I wasn't finna let that man go hungry. Don't be questioning me about what I spend our money on.
Should society have a responsibility to intervene in the male loneliness epidemic, to partner up men with women? It's a question Stephen Bartlett raised in his podcast, Diary of a CEO, one that's recently resurfaced across social media. Bartlett discusses how incel males are going extinct, unable to pass on their genes due to women not choosing them. But the question beneath that question is harder to ignore. Does Bartlett believe that everyone has a right to reproduce, or a right to a partner? Because while concern about male loneliness is growing, it exists alongside another trend. Women are opting out from relationships.
One of the problems with this framing of this new generation of quote-unquote incels is that it's making the assumption that men want women the same way that men have always wanted women. I know personally when there's something that I need to accomplish, when there's something I'm looking for, maybe a device for my computer or something to fix a car, or maybe it's just something that I really, really want, or even a woman I really, really want. You can't stop me from finding it, looking for it, and getting it eventually. And that's the attitude that's built the modern world. When a man puts his mind to something, he's going to go after it until he gets it or achieves it. So is the real problem that men just aren't men anymore? Or is it that the thing that men are chasing isn't the same anymore? Because no one really wants to take a look at that part of the equation.
Yesterday, during a conversation on my Patreon, it dawned on me why these conversations that so many Black men are having about their romantic relationships with Black women are so scary. And that's because conversations that in other communities are stigmatized as incel conversations, conversations that only the smallest group of the most marginalized men are supposed to have, are being mainstreamed among heterosexual Black men.
I'm 54. I don't have a daughter, but if I did, this is what I'd tell her. Don't you dare get married in your 20s. Your 20s are for your becoming. Marriage freezes you in a version of yourself that hasn't finished forming. So don't do it.
And it doesn't matter the education level. It doesn't matter the income level. Huge swaths of Black women's dating pool is tainted by overt and malicious misogyny.
The men out there also need to realize that when you're going out to meet a single mother and their kids are young, like, you got to realize all the things that she has to do to be able to go out.
Oh my God. Yes.
Like, yes. I'm paying a babysitter so I can go out with you.
You might think in this modern dating pool that many young ladies would hear this news of Sprinkle Lady and think, maybe I should reconsider, but that's not exactly what happened now, is it?
Shira tried to divorce James, also tried to get child support. However, that's when she found out that he only made $70,000 a year and that she will only get $600 a month. So that resulted into Shira getting her own job and providing for herself and her kids. But Shira wasn't innocent either. In 2012, she assaulted James as well, and also has been arrested several times on DUIs. And that is why she started her whole YouTube journey, because she could no longer drive nor go to work because of her DUIs. And that's just the start, y'all. That's just the start. Her real name is Letitia. She did not grow up with her father. Her mother had many children by many different men. She was also a baby mother, the ones that she speak on. Yeah, that was her. For y'all act all defensive about this stuff that I just told y'all, yes, I went and Googled all my research and I looked at the court cases and etc. It's all on Google, y'all. Y'all got her full name. Go do your own research.
One reason why I think this space is so incredibly important is because the traditional places like the church and even elder black men, people that got married even before the internet, much less smartphones, they're just not giving guys the modern picture. These guys don't know who Shira 7 is. They don't know the sprinkle lady. They think that that's a joke. If there are young ladies out here that are thinking that I'm going to get a guy, he's going to fund my lifestyle, and when I'm not happy anymore, I'm going to cash out, then guys don't want any parts of that. So if you're trying to hold old standards to guys in this modern environment, you're essentially telling guys to jump into the wood chipper. And it just makes these guys sound like dinosaurs.
I think that's the reason that a lot of young men have decided not to get married or not to get married soon. What do you think is the root cause? Is it the intimidation of women going to school more, making more money, or is it more about just enjoying their own lives and being themselves? What do you think that is?
From the men that I've talked to about this very subject, it's their fear of being seen for who they really are. Uh-huh. See, when you're married,
everything shows.
You do get depressed sometimes. Oh, you do lack confidence. Or you do have fears. And I tell brothers all the time, you must remember Lois Lane fell in love with Clark Kent, not Superman.
Right.
And so when brothers recognize that, like me and Nicole, I ain't had no money. She made more than me.
Right.
But we got it together. I didn't allow what I didn't have to stop me from getting who I had in front of me.
Right.
And so I tell brothers, like, there's, what's the classic, Mr. Wilson, I need to get my ducks in a row.
Right.
And I joke, so when have you ever seen ducks in a row? And they start laughing.
What Jason is saying here sounds good. But the problem is it's 20 years too late. A young lady is not going to, at least in modern dating, be interested in you if you don't have your ducks in a row, if you can't provide a certain lifestyle, even if you can't entertain her a certain number of times, or at least even if you can, you find the young lady that can be patient with you. Then you have to deal with her friends, and her friends might try and derail your relationship.
My friend of 4 years just ended our friendship over a man. This is literally what I said. Where did y'all go for y'all anniversary? And she goes, oh, we just went out to dinner. He got me flowers and some jewelry. And I was like, and she was like, don't start. No, I'm going to start. And we all need to start starting with our friends who are accepting like low effort from the men that they're with. It's just so minimal to me what he does for her every time. A birthday, flower, dinners, a gift. Anniversary, flowers, dinners, gift. Like, it's the same shit over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, girl, you deserve better.
What Jason and TD Jakes don't understand is how cutthroat modern dating has become. The lady speaking right before me now, she's complaining about a man that's making well into the six figures. And that man has done quite well. He's purchased 3 properties, she said later. And she's essentially telling her friend, he should be buying you more stuff. And that's a married woman. And then, of course, you have the chorus of young ladies hearing what they heard about married, sprinkle, Shira 7, and essentially saying, we don't really care about the truth because that's our girl, and we're going to go to bat for her.
And to the girl who made the video about Shira, thank you. I literally knew it was a reason why I loved her. And you just solidified it. If all of that stuff about her is true, chef's kiss. You got to be careful taking advice from people who've never been through nothing. Like, her advice literally be so good, so to the T. It's like, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. And I don't know if it's true or not, but if she really did slap the shit out of James.
Shira 7 never said that James was rich. If you go back and watch her OG YouTube videos from 10 plus years ago, she tells the story of how they met, that he was renting an apartment or a condo. She moved in with him. They rented for years and years and years. And eventually they bought a house. But when she got with him, she was able to quit her job at the funeral home. She was able to go to culinary school and just pursue things that she wanted to do, things that she was interested in.
Here's the problem that Jason and T. Jakes don't understand about modern dating. This woman is very attractive. In the 90s, we would have probably gone to some kind of dance or some kind of club, and you'd ask her to dance, maybe buy her a drink, and then maybe you try and make something of the relationship. But the cost to entry has gotten much higher, much, much higher. And not only that, but that much higher threshold is now being called the bare minimum. And so if you're not willing to do a long list of things to prove that you're not the quote unquote bare minimum guy, then this woman is essentially going to start quoting sprinkleisms. Or consider this young lady who is also very attractive, yet she has been indoctrinated with sprinkleisms.
He gave her a better life than what she had before she met him. She never encourages women to find a rich guy, a millionaire, a billionaire. She just simply says to find a man that can do something for you, that can give you a better life than what you already have. And that's going to be different for different women. Shira's advice has changed my life. I think more of myself today than I did 10 years ago. And I got rid of my dusty ass boyfriend that's a loser. I'm single, I'm celibate, I'm focused on myself. And the only way I'm gonna have a man in my life is if he's gonna make it better than what it is right now. If he can't do that, then what's the point of having him around? That's what I take from her advice.
Me and Nicole, I ain't had no money. She made more than me.
Right.
But we got it together. I didn't allow what I didn't have to stop me from getting who I had in front of me.
Right.
And so I tell brothers like, there's, what's the classic, Mr. Wilson, I need to get my ducks in a row.
Right.
And I joke, so when have you ever seen ducks in a row? And they start laughing. I'm like, yes, you want to be prepared. Yes, you want to have your finances in order if you can.
Mm-hmm.
She's called a helper for a reason as well. Maybe that's what it took for me.
If this was the old days? Yeah, now, well, the thing about the old days, they the old days.
All of that getting my ducks in a row, and she was making more money than me, and I was getting myself together, but she saw me for who I really was, and she gave me a chance. Do you think that that's going to work when you're dealing with young ladies like this these days?
Black men like to tell us all the time that we need to center our blackness, and I think that they tell us that above our womanhood in particular, and I think that they tell us that because they don't want us to call out the ways that their male privilege hurts us. And then that's something that then I get pushback from men from as well. So I say that particularly in the realm of my feminism, it's like I'm covered in red lasers all the time from every side of the aisle because I think we live in a world, I've always felt I am significantly more oppressed on the basis of my sex than I am of my race. And when I talk about stuff like that, and people get really, really upset, and people don't want to hear that that side of the opinion. I think that saying these things is actually, weirdly enough, more controversial, which is really surprising to me. I feel extremely misunderstood as a feminist. I talk about marriage, I talk about motherhood, I talk about how these institutions have been very difficult for women, and I get a ton of pushback for stuff like that. So I have a lot of feminist opinions where I'm really invested in the liberation of women and what's actually going to be good for us.
So the question I would ask Jason and TD Jakes is simply, if a young man, let's say he has $100 on a random Friday night, and he's thinking, I could just stay at home and save my money, or I could buy a video game, or I could take $100 out and entertain this young lady for a night of whatever, fun or whatever. First of all, do you think that that gentleman is going to enjoy the evening with this woman? If she's talking about feminist ideas and how men have oppressed women and how black men are doubly oppressing black women because black women are so much more oppressed than black men, do you want to do that on your Friday night? And if you don't want to do that, does that make you an incel? Because the question needs to be had. Are you going to blame the person that is the buyer? Are you going to blame essentially the hunters, the guys that are supposed to be quote unquote chasing? Or are you going to have a conversation about what they're chasing, and better asked, are they still desirous to chase that particular thing? Because I know when I was a younger guy in the 90s, I was. There were certain young ladies that I was willing to chase. Now, things, of course, have changed, and the music has changed, and we listen to a lot of synth music. But these days, I can understand a gentleman looking at all of the young ladies that he's seen, not just in this particular video, but on social media day after day after day, talking about male oppression and how men are incels and they want the more than the bare minimum. And a guy is saying, if I have to pay $200 just to get in front of this woman and then have her tell me essentially how I'm oppressing her, and then watch the same woman go be with a guy for nothing, that doesn't look like a kind of game that guys want to play a part in. And if you call those guys incels, I don't think they even care. Is that something you want to do on your Friday night? Or do you just want to stay home and save your money and play some video games or do your thing? Or better yet, save your money and go on a trip outside of the country every so often. The market decides, not some young ladies on a panel or people pointing at men saying, you guys need to do better. The market is always right. And the market is telling us that Shira 7 and her acolytes aren't in as much demand as they want to think they are. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.